Good morning, people. I want to talk about the murder of Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility in upstate New York. I just want to highlight some points that I feel wasn't really touched upon in all the videos that I've seen on YouTube or the news, the case may have you. I feel like there's a lot of points that wasn't really touched on. And, I want to give you a different perspective from somebody who has been incarcerated for a very long time, that is now free, somebody who has been at Marcy Correctional Facility and a bunch of other correctional facilities. Um, One of the main things I want to highlight is that this is not an isolated incident. They try to make it seem like, oh, it just was a few officers doing a bad thing. The majority of officers are good guys, they're upstanding people. No. The majority of correctional officers abuse their authority, they assault inmates, they steal. It's like the running joke is like they're worse than the people they watching. And this is an indication of that. Um, every jail has a hit squad where officers are beating guys up, assaulting them, murdering them. I just had one of my you know one of my guys from back in the day who got sent home in a box. I think they said he died from asphyxia. Believe it or not, he was killed by officers in jail. Same type of scenario. Um, During my incarceration, I've witnessed this almost every week. You see this. Almost every day you see this. I've experienced it where officers have assaulted me, and I was one of those guys who always worked out, stayed in shape, so I was bigger than most people, so they made sure that before anything, let's handcuff this guy, then we're gonna fuck him up. And that's what they always did. And that's what they continue to do. And as you can see, one of the things I don't like is how the discussion is coming up about what he was in prison for, Robert Brooks. That's irrelevant. Whatever he's in prison for is irrelevant. He should not be murdered at the hands of correctional officers, period. Or even assaulted. It doesn't matter what his charge is. I don't care if he was a pedophile. I don't agree with that lifestyle. I don't like pedophiles. I'm not into that. But if that's what he was, it doesn't matter. They do not have the right to kill that man, period. And I guarantee you that murder wasn't based upon what he was in jail for. I could look and tell from my point of view, which is probably an expert point of view, that he got into it with staff at Mohawk. Whether they assaulted him at Mohawk or he assaulted them, whatever the case may be. It was assault on staff, they're going to say it was. And that's when they brought him over there. He was already beat up. They continuously beat on him. And when you look at the video and you see his face, anybody who knows about the human anatomy can tell you that his nose was broke and his orbital socket was also broke. Nobody mentioned that. Oh, he got a bloody face. Yeah, because his nose is broke and his orbital socket is broke. Meaning that they've been beating on him. And what I also noticed is that they gave him what's called a sternum rub. Where they do this. And they do this to resuscitate you. So they beat him up. He died. They resuscitated him and then beat him some more until he died again. How's nobody's not even talking about this? Like, that's not even an issue. Like, they brought him back to life to kill him again. That's not. Wow. And everybody is saying, oh, it's the officers, they seem so composed and they're laughing. Yes, because this is an ordinary practice that happens every day or happens countless times a week. This is normal protocol. This ain't nothing new. They've been doing this for decades. For decades. They've been doing this since Attica Riot. What do you think the Attica Riot was about? Ask yourself. Okay, the officers are being great people. We're just going to decide to riot in a jail? No. The same type of atrocities, barbarism, was taking place back then. And that was one of the catalysts that caused the Attica Riot. This is not nothing new. This is why they're in the video, they're laughing, they're joking, and, you know, they cut the audio. Of course they cut the audio. You think they want you to hear them call, oh, just gonna kill you, nigger, where's it at, where's it? And then nobody has emphasized on the fact that you have 14 Caucasian men murdering a black man. You're not gonna tell me that's racially motivated? Of course it is. They love beating on black people in prison. Just you got long hair like mine. They love pulling your hair out, kicking you in the nuts. And then I seen in the video where the officer with the hat turned to the back, he was punching him in the nuts. Nobody highlighted that fact. I'm just seeing how I feel like it's a cover-up. Like they're showing you the video, but their wording, I feel like it's covering it up. And they're not trying to really give you the full magnitude of the video, of the incident. And don't be fooled by what they tell you. Oh, the officers assaulted him, then he went to the hospital the next day, he died at the hospital. No, he died that night. If you look at the video at the end where they took his pants off and they're checking for his pulse, he was dead. He was a corpse. He didn't go to the hospital and died. He was DOA, dead on arrival. So don't believe the story, oh, he went to the hospital and then died shortly after. No, they murdered him, right? You seen the video of him being murdered, of him being executed. So I'm just baffled at how they're trying to spin the video and make it seem like it's not what it is. That's just, wow, that's amazing to me, man. That man was murdered right in front of your eyes. When he was on that tape at the end of the video, he was a corpse. He was dead. And I remember I went to prison. And I was young. I was like 19. And you had guys in there, older guys that been there for like 20 years, 15 years. And at the time, I had a real problem with my mouth. Like I was real slick. I was a real slick talker. And I was talking slick to the correction officers, and you know, one of the older guys told me to shut the fuck up. So the officer, yo, I got it, man. Just, yo, shut the fuck up, young guy. What are you doing over there, man? Shut up. So I'm like, I'm like, who are you talking to like this? I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm waiting for the officer to take off. So, you know, we take over. You know, me and OG gonna go at it. And then he told me, he said, listen, young blood, you don't argue with the police, man. They're not playing with you, man. They'll kill you in the head, man. They're going to handcuff you. They're going to beat your head in, throw you down the stairs, knock out your little pretty teeth, pull your hair out. If they don't kill you, you're not going to look the same afterwards. He said the only time you argue with the correction officers or you get into it with them is if you're ready to kill, because they're going to kill you. Don't play with them at all. You don't talk with them. You don't joke with them. You don't play with them, because they're going to try to kill you if they don't kill you. So you need to make sure that you try to kill them first. And that always stuck with me, man. That always stuck with me, man. I don't play games. I wasn't playing games with the officers in there. I wasn't trying to be your friend. Kumbaya, we all cool. Nah, not at all. And then every jail I went to, for the most part, they were Caucasian officers. And they looked at you like a nigger. And not only you are a nigger, you're a nigger that's incarcerated. And we could do anything too. And it's like, I'm hearing Governor Kathy Hochul, oh, we're gonna, you know, invest more into the body cams and really come up with a program. And why do you think they have body cams now? They didn't have that when I was there. I got released in 2019, and they didn't have body cams when I was there. Why do you think they got body cams? Because they're perpetually beating on prisoners. And this is why they got away with that. They put video cameras in the jails. And they would just take you to a spot, there's no cameras, and then kill you or beat you till you was unrecognizable. This is why they gotta wear body cams now. And these officers, if you look at their attire, they have bars on their coats and their shirts. Each bar indicates 5 years. So you see some of them got 20 years in, 20-something years, 15 years in. So I don't think they were privy to technology. So I think that they were thinking, oh, these shit's not even working. Let's keep them off, and we're just gonna beat his fucking ass, and then you know what I mean. But they didn't know that they were actually recording, dumb fucks. So they didn't know this, and that's why they're all laughing. They're happy-go-lucky. Do you think they would have been doing that if they know that the shit was recording? And then two, they thought that he wasn't gonna die. I was gonna beat him up, and if he didn't die, and then he filed a complaint, nothing would have happened. Oh, nothing would have happened. Like the one officer has lawsuits from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Why is it taking so long for people to get justice? Why? Whenever I punch somebody in the face, I do something to somebody, they come get me immediately. I gotta pay the price immediately. Why? Because the so-called officers of the law? Miss me with that, man. Miss me with that. This is not something that's isolated. It takes place every single day. Different facilities. And let me emphasize to you, Marcy Correctional Facility is a medium. It is not a maximum security prison. In a maximum security prison, they have sticks that they carry on their persons that has lead on the inside. And these sticks break bones. And when they get you, same type of man, they handcuff you, and then they kick you and beat you with these sticks. 10, 15, 20 officers. Even though I'm not trying to downplay this video at all. It's horrific. Should never took place. But I've seen worse. I've seen way worse. Where they're smacking you with a stick and pieces of your scalp is coming off. Most people don't know what it's like to hear somebody scream for their life. I know what it's like. I've heard it countless times. Somebody screaming for their life in the hallway or the corridors because the officers are beating on them and they're defenseless. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're defenseless. It's not a fair fight. They're not trying to fight you one-on-one, even 2 or 3-on-1. That'd be fair for me. They're handcuffing you when you're completely defenseless, and then they're assaulting you. If that took place in the public, if me and a bunch of guys handcuff somebody and beat them up, and what is that, gang assault? Attempted murder? If they die, murder? But these people rarely get charged. Rarely get charged. And don't let these people fool you, the governor and attorney general, fool you to believe that they didn't know about these type of things. And why do you think they closed Downstate Correctional Facility? That used to be an orientation jail. I went through there a couple of times. I went through a lot of times, actually. When you go there, you get your greens, you get your number. Why do you think they closed that down? The feds came and closed that down because they was down there assaulting and murdering people for decades. Decades. They was doing this. And the feds went down there a few times, and then after a while, we're closing this cell down. So they been knew about this. This is not something that they didn't know about. They didn't know that this wasn't an issue. I'm not trying to hear that, man. Like, you're not gonna bamboozle me. They just didn't care. They don't care about prisoners. They don't care. Oh, they get assaulted by officers. They don't care. They never cared. The only reason they so-called care now is because there's video footage and to quell people rioting, protesting. They have to make it seem like, oh, we didn't know about this. We're gonna correct it, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. But you're supposed to have procedures in play for these type of scenarios. But the procedures in play is like you have people who are correction officers are investigating correctional officers, or they're part of the Department of Corrections, DOCS. Or they're a part of that. So the last thing they want to do is investigate an officer. The only time they came to me and talked to me about officer conduct was when they thought a female was sleeping with an inmate. That's when they came and spoke to me and was like, "Hey, what's going on, man? Any problems?" And I'm like, all the times I contacted you guys when I got jumped on and I seen other dudes get beat on and slaughtered, you didn't come. But you come now when you think a female is sleeping with a prisoner. It's funny to me, man. It's real funny. And this thing, man, has been happening for a very long time. A very long time. This is not something that just took place, an isolated incident. It's not. And I want you to be mindful of that. That this is not something that just takes place like just now. It's not. It's not. And I think one of the funny things is that if I can recall correctly, when I was doing time, that Marcy was considered a good jail to go to, a good prison. Like you go to Marcy or you go to Mid-State or Cayuga or more. These are good jails to go to. They wasn't even considered bad jails. Because in bad jails, bad things happen. Really bad things happen. Like what you've seen, that's regular in certain prisons. This is regular. It's just so regular. That's not even. So when they're saying Marcy, oh, Marcy has a problem, I can name a lot of other prisons that are way worse than Marcy as far as this goes. That it literally is happening every day. It's just that you don't hear about it because they didn't have body cams or the individuals didn't die. And these officers, like I said before, they did a sternum rub to bring him back and then killed him again and then try to bring him back again and he didn't come back. So they believe that, oh, it's going to keep on killing him and bringing him back because this is what they do. This is a normal practice. You know what I mean? This is why it's kind of like if you got a professional boxer that gets into a ring with somebody, you won't see him being nervous. You won't see him being scared. Or this is an average day at the office, man. And this is what they've shown you. This is the average day at the office for them. This is not something that's new. And I just wanted to highlight those points. And also the cover-up of he was dead on arrival when he got to the hospital. He didn't die at the hospital. If you look at the video, the last video at the end, where the nurse is taking his pulse, he is dead. He's a corpse. He's not unconscious. He is dead. So when he went to the hospital, he was Usana non grata. He was dead on arrival. So you witness somebody getting murdered. I don't see how there's we got to investigate, we got to see. No, for the people that were hitting him, that's murder. And for the people who sat back and watched, that's accessory to murder. I don't see what the debate is about. What is the debate about? What is the investigation about? What is there to investigate? We have a video. What is there to investigate? Everything is in the video. You can see it for yourself. And a lot of people don't know that everybody in the room weren't the same rank. You had sergeants there, and then you had officers. The sergeant job is to supervise the officers. The sergeant is considered management in correctional facilities. Once you become a sergeant, you know, you put down for the test, you pass the test, you become a sergeant. You have to be a CO first, but you become a sergeant. You're part of the management now. So you manage the officers. So this is why the sergeant's sitting back just watching it like, yeah, okay, yeah, beat on him. He's watching it. He's supervising it. He's supervising the murder. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but in one of the videos, a lady with a white shirt came and was standing in the doorway of the examining room. She was a lieutenant or a captain. She wasn't a sergeant. So the lieutenants and the captains are the ones who's supposed to supervise the sergeants. So she's even higher up on the chain. So she came and was watching it. So that shows you how corrupt the system is. And I can say the one good thing that I've seen happen is that Kathy Hochul got rid of the superintendent. He's the person who runs the jail. Once upon a time, he was called the warden. Now he's called the superintendent. She got rid of him. That's one good thing I could have seen, because he needed to go, because obviously he wasn't doing shit anyway. Yeah. I heard an assemblyman from New York speaking on TV this morning. He was talking about how he used to be incarcerated, and he went and spoke. Went to interview a lot of people in the jail, and he said he got a list of 43 individuals, officers, and sergeants that he wants to be brought up on charges, because they are partaking in the same type of behavior, and he wants to try to close that jail. I wholeheartedly agree with him. Close the jail. Close that jail. What jail it came from? It came from Mohawk. Close that jail. Because now you're sending a clear message that, yeah, if you guys continue this behavior, you could lose your job. Shut the whole jail down. And that really would have these guys walking on eggshells. Because I've seen personally where IG has come into the facility. And IG is like the internal investigator of corrections. You know, they investigate incidents. It could be police brutality, officers sleeping with inmates, what the case may be. They come in and investigate these things. And when IG comes in there, you see a whole new group of officers. Their shirts are buttoned up, it's clean, they're not musty. The hallways are clean, and they come on guys, take it down. Go here guys. Okay, we got you guys. Okay, they put out this grand show for IG, and as soon as they leave, nigger, get back in fucking line. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. And yeah, man, that's why I never played with the officers, man, at all. I've never played with them. I've never ever played with them. And actually, one time I had got into a fight with another inmate, and they handcuffed me, and this was in Orleans Correctional Facility. Orleans, I think it's in between Rochester and Buffalo. It's a little bit past Marcy. And they handcuffed me, and one of the things they do is that they have doors into the dorms, and you got to go through one door, then another door. In between those doors, there's no cameras. So they brought me in between the doors. I'm handcuffed, obviously, and they start punching me in my back. About 3-4 officers start punching me in my back. Now, I'm trying not to laugh, you know, because at the time I think I might have been like 240, 245, so I got these old white guys punching me in the back. You're really not doing shit. So I'm just sitting here. I'm trying not to laugh. And then the door opened. And you had this black officer named Aldridge. He came in. And me, Aldridge, you know, he was cool. You know, we used to talk rap and sports and all that when he was in the dorm. You know, we had a nice rapport. But he came in there. And he was like, no, you guys are not doing this to him. You're not doing it to him. No. And they were shocked, like, what? What do you? No, you're not doing that to him. And then he actually took me, because my face was to the wall, and then spun me around so I could see their faces. Like, yo, look, you know him. You're not doing that to him. They're like, oh, we didn't know. It's like, yeah, now you're not doing that to him. And then he took me to medical himself, and was down with me, you know, in medical with me, and then took me to the box itself. Because, you know, after a fight, you got to go to medical to get you know, observe the scars or whatever happened to your medical, see if you need more medical attention, what the case may be. And that's why Robert Brooks was going to medical. So whatever happened in Mohawk, I guess it was an incident of force or whatever the case may be. So that's why he was going to medical, to be seen, not to be murdered. Yeah, so that's one of the incidents that happened to me. You know, I had a guy there that, like, he knew I was a stand-up dude. I wasn't gang affiliated. I wasn't selling drugs. You know what I mean? I stayed to myself. Was doing positive things, but I ain't playing no games with nobody. And he respected that. Yeah, I got countless stories. I'm not gonna get into all my stories, but as far as the black officers go, I have to call a spade, man. Because I also was in Windy Correctional Facility. That's out by Buffalo. That actually was the first jail that I've been to that I seen black officers. And I'm like, besides downstate, once you start hitting them upstate prisons, all the officers are white. You may have like one black dude who thinks he's white, but everybody is white. And I actually went to Windy, and it kind of was shocking to me to see all these black officers, cornrows and braids in their hair and lace fronts. So it was real shocking to me. And yeah, so but with Windy, with the black officers, man, I was highly, highly disappointed in the cowardice of the black officers there. Because the same thing that happened in this video was happening over there. The white officers was whooping black dudes' ass over there. Handcuffed, beating you in the head with sticks. I'm inside the cell block, in my cell. And I hear guys in the hallway screaming for their life. And these black officers ain't do shit. They ain't intervene. They ain't try to go stop it. Anything like that. And I say that's extreme cowardice. Because as a black man, you think I'm gonna let a bunch of white men jump on a black man in front of me while he's defenseless, handcuffed, just beating him to death, and I'm not gonna do nothing? How can you call yourself a black man and you allow that to take place on your watch? That's why I say they cowards, man. I can't lie. Windy Correctional Facility was filled with a bunch of black cowards, man. And they also was doing the same thing these white officers was doing. They was jumping on dudes. So I'm like, how is that? How do I come to a facility that's densely populated with black officers, yet they're doing the same thing as the Caucasian counterparts? How? That's what it was baffling me. Like, how? Are you competing with them? Like, listen, we can beat up guys too. Look at this. Like, that's something like it was extreme cowardice. Extreme cowardice. They always try to talk to me and talk about working out and other stuff. And I used to shun them like, yeah, okay, okay. And I used to spin because I don't respect you. I got no respect for y'all, man. Got no respect. You letting all these things, you letting these racist assaults go on in front of you, and you don't even do nothing. You don't try to break it up. You don't say, yo, guys, that's enough. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do any of that, man. Any of that. So, yeah, I have to say, man, I had to get off my chest. I'm saying, the black officers that was in Windy Correctional Facility when I was there. I was in, 2008 until 2010. I went to Wyoming. Yeah. So all the officers that was there, that was black, you know who you are. You're cowards. I just want to say that. Extreme cowards. Yeah, so I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to highlight some points that I seen pertaining to that. I could talk about this for days. I lived it. I'm not no analyst for CNN that's watching the video, and I lived this. I've experienced this. This is coming from a person who has an expert opinion on this, who has been going to prison since he was a kid, been in prison since he was a kid, that experienced all of these things. All of these things. And I just wanted to highlight some things that I seen on the video and that's taking place that I don't feel is being accurately reflected. All right, people. In the meantime, man, stay blessed, stay safe. And if you can avoid putting yourself in a situation where you have to deal with this type of thing, then do that, man. All right, God bless.